Welcome back. Today is Wednesday, the 31st of May, 2023. Tank skins are on the airplane. They're going to come off the airplane. They're going to go back on. They're going to come off again all today. Today is a bunch of sort of small operations to get the final fitting of the fuel tank assembly. I'm thinking that maybe by the end of tomorrow, we should be to the point where we can start making a mess with Pro Seal and start turning these pieces of aluminum into a fuel tank. We'll see what happens. Not a lot more blah blah. We'll just get into it. You'll see what happens. But thanks for being here. I appreciate you. If you want to do that YouTubey stuff with the likey and the subscribey and the whatever, I appreciate that as well. So anyways, let's start building. So this was a very productive day. I'll show you right here though what 6 hours of work looks like on the plans. It looks like you barely showed up. And this, by the way, is only for one tank. I'll explain more about that. So the second one will take me probably 3 hours this morning to finish up those same steps. So here I'm actually I've taken the skins off. Remember the ribs weren't on there. So gotten the skins off, and now the next step is to cleco the skins to the baffle and then final size drill them. And what I realize is that last outboard rib cannot be clecoed in place with the leading edge in place. There's no clearance in there. So you'll see me here removing both of the leading edges, which is really the only complication in the day, and it's really not much of one at all, but it does eat into the time a little bit to take the leading edge off and put it back on again. So final size drilling those tank ribs to the baffle, it's really important that you use a drill stop because it says it in the plans, but that beautiful, expensive main spar sits just beneath those spacers, and if you don't use a drill stop, it's almost guaranteed that you'll punch all the way through and start putting some pretty nasty marks in that main spar, which you don't want to happen. So I'm using a 12-inch number 30 drill bit with a stop. That allows me to get lined up on those holes without needing to flex the ribs out of the way a ton. And I don't want to, even though you can, I don't want to, because when you flex the ribs away, it also moves the flange away a little bit, and you'll create oblong holes. So anyways, simple task. It's done. Once all of those have been clecoed and final size drilled and everything like that, it's time to put the skins back on. And it's at this point that you need to remove the inside skin. I want to go ahead and put those leading edges back on. Anything that's going to aid in holding the shape of this wing, tying it all together, I'm going to do that. So, and also, as a reminder from a couple of videos ago, I said that on the leading edges, there are two ribs that need additional holes drilled into the flange using the main spar as using the main spar as a guide to drill those two holes. So I think that I kind of broke this day up into 2-hour sections. Here I'm marking all of the skin stiffeners so I can remove them and put them away and then remove that skin. So took a little break. I'm back, and now I'm going ahead on the leading edge. I'm getting those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 holes drilled in those leading edge spars, getting that out of the way, that work that was saved for later. So fitting the skins, this skin, the fuel tank skin, is 32 thousandths, which is a pretty heavy duty. And it also means that it really resists being bent around that curve, even though it's pre-bent. You just have to take your time. Even if you've done a really good job of fluting, it's just gonna be a time-consuming process to get these holes lined up at the leading edge of this tank.
patience. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but I expected it would be time consuming. You'll notice that I started on the top of the tank, meaning to the left of the screen, where there's more curve in the material. It's the easiest way to approach it is do the more curved part first, and then finish with the rest, working from the leading edge to the trailing edge, or toward the spar. Once that's all fitted, then the whole thing comes off the wing. So you remove all the bolts that are holding those spacers in place, and remove the whole thing. So with the baffle attached, which is kind of cool. You have a complete fuel tank. I mean, more or less. Don't put any fuel in it. And then this is just the sort of tedious, slow, repetitive process of final size drilling a million holes, and then shifting all of the rivets over and final size drilling the other million holes. I am at peak Cleco deficit at this point. I would have liked to have fitted both of the wings, but you see I just propped the right wing skin up there to get it out of the way. I would have liked to have done both of them at the same time, but there simply aren't enough Clecos. And the new order will be, today is Thursday as I record this, the new order of Clecos will be here on Saturday, but I'll be beyond Cleco panic at that point. So this is really the worst of it right here. The next few days I'll be getting into small work. So, yep, more shifting Clecos and final size drilling holes. Once this is done, I think I take another quick break and come back out. And that top row that you see me doing, those are all the holes that connect the skin to the baffle. I final size drill them, shift all the Clecos over, and then all of those need to be countersunk. So the skin is countersunk so that you don't have to dimple the baffle underneath it. Dimpling the skin, dimpling the baffle would make it really tough when it comes time to close up that tank to fit that baffle in there, because you're working with sealant. And well, anyways, we'll see that when it happens. So anyways, yeah, this is 136, I think 68 per side, 136 number 40 countersinks, which is not difficult, but definitely time consuming, and is a hot day, like 93, 94, high humidity. So like I said, it's going to be like that all summer. And I've got a lot of time to enjoy it, I suppose. So that wraps it up for episode 56, I think. I guess there's one more thing here, which is a preview of what I'll be starting with today. Once this is all done, that whole assembly comes apart and all of the parts are marked, which at this point is really just marking the sequence of the ribs and of the spacers. That'll all get put on the shelf, and then when we start getting back into reassembling that stuff, everything will land in the spot that it came from. So that's what you'll see me doing here to finish this up. And then today, I think you figured out by now that I've caught up on my backlog of videos. So today, which is immediately following the day that you're watching, I will do this same business to the right tank. I think that all that business of fitting the ribs and doing the stuff with the leading edge, taking it off, that's all done. So I think that the fitting of the skin, final size drilling, countersinking, I think about 3 hours. Oh, and one more thing. The screw attach holes all need to be final size drilled to number 19. So I did that as well. Anyways, I think that'll be about the first 3 hours of my day today. We'll see what happens. Episode 56 is in the can. So thanks. See ya.